NFO Merc here with the latest on Nick Cannon, right? How do we feel about what's going on with Nick, right? Um, you see that in the news recently that Nick was fired or relieved of all of his jobs, not really all, but most of the jobs that he was publicly doing, right? He hosts Mass Singer. He had a show Wildin' Out, and he also had another podcast type show that I used to watch on. I still watch it on YouTube. Um, Cannon's Class, right? So on Cannon's Class, he interviewed Professor Griff, and you know me, I just probably put the insert right about here.
Fear in that
Just genetic
that
annihilation.
deficiency of when you have a person that has the lack of pigment, the
Right.
lack of melanin,
Right.
that they know that they will be annihilated. So therefore, however they got the power, they have the lack of compassion. That melanin comes with compassion. Melanin comes with soul. That we call it soul. We soul brothers and sisters. That's the melanin that connects us. So
Right.
the people that don't have it are a little, and I'm gonna say this carefully, are a little less, and where the term actually comes from, because I'm bringing it all the way back around
Okay.
to Minister Farrakhan, to where they may not have the compassion or the when they were sent to the mountains of Caucasus, when they didn't have the power of the sun, that the sun then started to deteriorate them. So then they're acting out of fear. They're acting out of low self-esteem. They're acting out of a deficiency. So therefore, the only way that they can act is evil. The only way they have to rob, steal, rape, kill, and
Fight or
pillage
flight, okay.
in order to survive.
Exactly.
So then these people who didn't have what we had, and when I say we, I speak of the melanated people.
Right.
They had to be savages. They had to be barbaric. Because they're in these Nordic mountains. They're in these rough, torrential environments. So they're acting as animals.
Right.
So they're the ones that are actually closer to animals. They're the ones that are actually the true savages. And then they built up such this I don't want to say warrior, but they built up such this conquering barbaric mentality that they're coming out of Europe. They then said, in order for us to survive, we have to take what's not ours. And then they went into the
So he those words were supposed to be anti-Semitic, right? And that was the indictment that he's under, that got him fired from these jobs, right? Now, Nick also had a stand-up comedy not too long ago that got him fired from America's Got Talent, and he made reference to NBC as "nigga be careful," right? And that was pretty edgy stand-up. He had a black leather jacket, and I think it said "freedom" on the back. So he was making all types of statements, right? I kind of like Nick. I like Nick. I don't. When I
You can get the drum line, Nick Cannon. Get the wildin' out, Nick Cannon. Yeah. You get the activist, Nick Cannon. You get the rapper, Nick Cannon.
say I like Nick, he's a Hollywood person. He exists as a celebrity. He's chasing money, but he's not really a bad representation. He's not really a bad representation of those type of people that's in that field, that's doing what they're doing, right? It seems like he's coming from a place of honor and respect, right? So when you the interview that with Professor Griff that caused him to get this scrutiny. Oh, the term I made on the last YouTube was black flash. When all your future endeavors become threatened by something you said or did, right? When all your future endeavors, and then once your future endeavors become threatened, it is hard for the person to not to feel life threatened. You understand? So somewhere down the line, those same people, these people that cut big checks these same people that can make you hang on a tree and then get ruled as a suicide, these same type people, they will give you a lot of money for you to tap dance and sing and shut up and dribble. When you go past a certain line, an invisible ceiling, when you think you got more, when you think you free, that's when you realize there's no such thing, baby boy. You wanted money, you ain't wanted freedom. You understand? So you can't have both, believe it or not. So especially when it's chained to fame, right? So now they have a book, right? And the book is called The Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion, right? Now, in this book, let me see what this one is called. This particular chapter is called Re-Education, Protocol number 9. I will try to read and break down what is being read. It's probably about 2 paragraphs that I found very interesting, right? Protocol number 9. In applying our principles, let attention be paid to the character of the people in whose country you live and act. A general, identical application of them until such time as the people shall have been re-educated to our pattern cannot have success. But by approaching their application cautiously, you will see that not a decade will pass before stubborn characters will change, and we shall add a new people to the ranks of those already seduced by us. Wow. In applying our principles, let attention be paid to the character of the people in whose country you live and act. Right? So, these people sound like invaders. These people sound like they are patient. These people sound like they have a plan that stretches longer than 10, 20, 30, 40. You understand what I'm saying? Years. These people are not playing state, street. These people are playing world, nations, governments. Understand? So pay attention to the character of the people in whose country you live. In a country like America where it's clearly divided, right? Let's just look at it plain and simple, black and white, just like that, right? And in the current times that we exist in, right? With the police, the protests, the BLM, the LGBTQ, all of that, right? These are inhabitants of the land. Be mindful of the characters of the people of whose country you live, right? They're being mindful of these personalities that exist, right? And general identical application of them until such time as the people have been re-educated to our pattern cannot have success. So that means that these people have controlled resources, finances. These are the dream makers, dream breakers, law givers in the equation, right? So they will seduce you. They have time. They have patience. They will let you think that what you are doing will benefit you and only you. And that's probably it. The fundamental rules of a nigga, the way NFO Mercs define nigga, is one who does anything for one reason only, right? The one reason is, oh, I'm doing it because it looks good. The other one reason. The other one reason is, oh, it tastes good. One reason, oh, it feels good. That's it. But if it doesn't do more, then understand you are functioning from a nigga's point of view. So that's just the easiest way to do it, right? Just on regular whatever you're doing. So whenever you eat, you're saying, damn, why am I eating this? How was it prepared? What and you look for the benefits, and you look for the cons, the pros and the cons of what you're ingesting, and what's the pros of what you're trying to do. You have to live and apply yourself to a militant application so you do not be seduced by these type of people, right? Then so the such time has passed. You end up playing their game in order to get success. So now in common times, you would see comedians and rappers and even your neighbor showing self-hate as a means to get success. Right, it's a common thing back in the day. Back in like 1990, they had a song by the Ghetto Boys called "Black Cop." Think a lot of people had a little songs about it. KRS-One, if I'm not mistaken, Black Cop. You know what I mean? So it was about the phenomenon of black people becoming police and being more harder on their brothers than the white officer. Right? So let's break down some more of this paragraph right here. By approaching their application cautiously, you will see that not a decade will pass before the most stubborn character will change, and we shall add a new people to those ranks already seduced by us. You understand? So when you see people who elevate through financial success, and now they call themselves the new black, they're bougie, they got all types of these different type of people. Then when you have a group like the BLM who is financed by one of these people, you can see all of the cunning mechanisms coming to the surface, right? You see that the next thing after that they employed that was a bigger movement was the LGBT lives, Black Lives Matter. You understand what I'm saying? So what I'm trying to say is that these characters will now do other stuff which is not pertaining to the all, but pertaining to a self, right? It's a selfish action, right? And they're going to masquerade in the crowd being to get success. You understand? And this is why these same type people that Nick Cannon was talking about, you cannot say their names. It's the same thing with the LGBT community. If you do not say anything positive, then you can't say anything at all. You understand? So it became a police type way with these things. So that must mean they must be one of the same because they got the same protection, right? Next paragraph. The words of the liberal, which are in effect the words of our Masonic watchword, namely liberty, equality, fraternity, will, when we come into our kingdom, we change by us into words no longer of a watchword, but only an expression of idealism, namely into the right of liberty, the duty of equality, the ideal of brotherhood. Now, I'm sorry, not now. That is how we shall put it, and so we shall catch the bull by the horns. De facto, we have already wiped out every kind of rule except our own. Although de jure, they still remain a good many of them nowadays. If any state raise a protest against us, it is only pro forma at our discretion and our direction. For their anti-Semitism is indispensable to us for the management of our lesser brethren. I will not enter into further explanation, for this matter has formed the subject of repeat discussion amongst us. Parentheses, anti-Semitism is anti-Semitism is a mechanism devised and controlled by the world Jewry. Jewry. All right. Now, that paragraph, I loved it. It was so like, wow, like ching ching, all these different pieces, all the like he was trying to crack the safe, crack the code, and you had your ear to the surface and you was turning it down. You hear little pins dropping, letting you know that yeah, you're filling in the blanks. You don't gotta know the numbers, but you feel like you want something here, right? The words of the liberal, which are in effect the words of our Masonic watchword, namely liberty, equality, fraternity, right? Now, if you are outside of this particular train of thought, or this council of people, or if you're outside of this gang, right? Just trying to make it so you can see. And people were saying these words, like liberty, equality, fraternity. These were like in a Masonic undertone. These are like buzzwords. You know what the meanings are. The people, the laymen, the people outside of the initiated do not know what they're saying when they're saying these things, right? Liberty, equality, fraternity, right? But when you come into our kingdom, these words will be no longer a watchword, but these words will be an expression of idealism, namely into the right of liberty, the duty of equality, the ideal of brotherhood. You understand? So it changes once you become a acting member in the cause, or a player with the same uniform on the same team. You understand? And you moving in a direction. Another thing I have come to realize on my studies is that individualism is the death of culture. Individualism is the death of culture. Beware of those who want to express themselves uniquely, right? By a weird sex choice, a weird diet, and so forth. You understand? It does not, listen, if it does not yield life, do not embark on it, please, people. It is detrimental at this time that we invest our finances, our spiritual, our spirit, our mental, our bodies into future generations. You understand? All right, let's skip some of these words that I found very interested was de facto. Let's look up de facto. Hold on. Sorry. De facto. Alright. Let's not look up de facto right this instant. Let's look up de jure. Somehow it's not letting me look up de facto. De jure. According to rightful entitlement or claim by right, often construct with de facto. It's also in. I'm sorry. And according to rightful enlightenment or claim by right, often contrast with de facto. Sorry. Here we go. De facto, in fact, or in effect, whether by right or not, often contrasts with de jure. All right. Let's look up. What was the other one? Pro forma. I think pro forma meant in effect, like in our direction, like something is going according to us, like it. Let's just see if I did it right. Pro forma, done or produced as a matter of form. A matter of form or politeness, a standard document form or financial statement. Pro forma. Let me see if you can hear it.
Pro forma.
All right. Pro forma. Good. So, now let's go into the other good part. The anti-Semitism is indispensable to us for the management of our lesser brethren. Oh my God. Look at that right there. Now, and remember I said just look at it in terms of black and white. Now, if you look at it and you slice, if you look into the white side of the equation, and you will see that there are two fighting sectors. They're the let's just talk, man. They're the Aryans and they're the Jews, right? This is the fight that Hitler and so forth was going on with, and blah blah blah, right? So the Jews, this book was a book for Jewish rhetoric, right? They're invaders. Remember that was paragraph 1. They show you that they're invading and they're showing you ways of conquest through any form of human enactment, right? Financial, spiritual, food, everything is in this book, right? So the anti-Semitism is dispensable for the use, the management of our lesser brethren, right? So remember, the other, they have the ignorant white man and they have the ignorant black man. That is the ignorance is actually the control mechanism that makes people react with emotions and not acting out of fact. You understand what I'm saying? So what was happening now, this anti-Semitism is a mechanism. It was a trip word. It was a thing that they can just paint on anybody. That's why the interview that you see him, he did not say anything that refers to that. And then if you do further research, once again, quoting the OG, you would peep that the original Jews were black, and that these lighter hued Jews were persecuting, killing, and ridiculing and denying them of the entering into certain temples and lands, and this is what all this is about. So when you understand that the term that they hijack for themselves is actually for us. So we cannot be anti-Semitic if in reality we are the Semitic ones in reference to what is going on. And this is the game that they're playing. Anti-Semiticism is a mechanism devised and controlled by the world Jewry. Let me see if I can look up world Jewry and see what that pops up to. Let's see what happens here. World Jewry, in recognition of the centrality of Israel in Jewish life, practices in buildings and countries through social, political, and financial support, as well as by coming to Israel, making it their home, and adding their particular skill and cultural backgrounds to the Israeli mosaic. Wow, more invading, more of the, you see that insane nature, that invasive nature. This is what's going on. So let's be aware, people. Let's not fall for the games. Let's keep our heads on tight. Let's make sure we understand what's going on. This book, once again, is called The Protocols of the Learned Elders of Zion, right? It reminds me of the conversation Neo had with the architect. See, the information, once we understand, once you present the information to certain people, once you define a man, they will go somewhere. They will go somewhere and make an artificial man, hitting all the markers that you said was a man. So now we have to go back into the definition books and then go into something that they cannot touch, right? And then you say one who was born with this certain type of chromosomal, chromosomal display, right? Then male, and the other way would be a female, right? If we're keeping it simple, right? Male, man, woman, child, right? That, I'm telling you, that is one of our weapons in this fight. This is a purge. They are wiping out the ignorant, the weak, those who are still moving for money. This is what happens when you unleash the state. You understand? When you yourself cannot deal and hang out with your children or your wife or your husband or in your own house, you yourself have created a hell, and you have to do some soul searching. You have to find a way to live better. In the times of Corona, when it's life and death and you cannot find harmony in your home, something is going on. So before you go out and try to fight a fight and protest and teach and educate and look for money, and you don't even got the proper love and patience and guidance for your future, then you, my friend, are in grave danger. So if that is what's driving you out, you have been seduced by these wicked people to go outside and put yourself in harm's way chasing a dollar. I'm not saying that we can't get money. I understand the way it's set up that we have to do it. But at the same time, you were forced to spend time with your family, and you see the memes, you hear it on social media, there's crime reports, there's all types of stuff that shows you that people could not deal. So when he opens up the schools in these poor neighborhoods where money is the lifeblood, of course they're going to put their kids out there. And how's that going to work? So, sticking to the Nick Cannon topic, we understand that Nick has fell for the banana in the tailpipe. He was a sacrificial lamb to let us know that even when you teeter-totter with it, you're still boy. You understand? Boy. So, this was very deep and informative. Let me see if we can go into number 3 here. Number 3 is headed Jewish superstate. Number 3. For us, there are not checks to limit the range of our activity. Our super government subsists in extra legal conditions which are described in the accepted terminology by the energetic and forceful word, dictatorship. I am in a position to tell you with a clear conscience that at the proper time we, the lawgivers, shall execute judgment and sentence. We shall slay and we shall spare. We, as head of all troops, are mounted on the steed of the leader. We rule by force, will, because in our hands are the fragments of a once powerful party now vanquished by us. And the weapons in our hands are limitless ambition, burning greediness, merciless vengeance, hatred, and malice. Wow. Now, what sparked the the Nick Cannon and the protests and and everything that's going on TV is interwoven through little invisible strings. You see, we are thinking in fragments. We are not seeing the string theory in everything that exists. This is part of the code breaker. If you could just string together, like, hear what I'm saying and still take pieces of information into everything I'm saying. I can't keep bringing the terminologies and the ideas into. I can't keep assuming neither that you guys know that. So every once in a while, the comments will help, let me elaborate further. I promise you, we can get deeper into any conversation you want to have along these lines, right? So you say, and the weapons in our, this is in capital letters, and the weapons in our hands are limitless ambitions, burning greediness, merciless vengeance, hatred, and malice. You understand what I'm saying? So the hatred and malice is the All Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, the police force. You see the videos, right? Their hatred and malice is going to stem from what looks like hatred and malice on our side also. A peaceful protest to them looks like hate. You knowing your rights when you get pulled over by one of these savages could be the most deadly thing you can do. When these people pull up with the taste for blood, there's nothing you can do. There's videos of us resisting. There's videos of us complying. And in the same videos, we are dying. There's nothing you can do once they have the taste for blood. I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know. I will suggest that whenever encountered someone, any man that can take your life, you put yourself in a position, you put yourself in a position that you will try to preserve and protect your life by any means necessary. That's all I can say. I don't know what that means. I don't know how to do it when you're in a car and there are guns at the window. I don't know how to do it when they run in your house while you're sleeping. I don't know how to do it if your son and daughter's outside playing and they shoot them down. I don't know. I'm sorry. But just understand that the limitless ambition of you chasing in these particular times to leave the safety, to go out into the unknown, to come back with a compound virus that if you are old, if you are previously sick, if you have a compromised immunity, in the beginning, that is already considered a worthless human being. They deem that a useless eater. This is how they talk. You understand? That's the ambition. Burning greediness is kind of ties into that. You see what I'm saying? Ties into it. You understand that? That's self-explanatory. Merciless vengeance, right? You give. This is how you start it off. When you want to create a disharmony, you will show equal bearing, and then you will give more to one side, and then let it start to fall over. So now we don't know where it started. Once you beat Rodney King, once you killed this person, once you slain this kid, you know what I'm saying? And now we are looking for some type of burning greediness, merciless vengeance, hatred, and malice. You understand what I'm saying? So the hatred and malice is the All Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter, the police force. You see the videos, right? Their hatred and malice is going to stem from what looks like hatred and malice on our side also. A peaceful protest to them looks like hate. You knowing your rights when you get pulled over by one of these savages could be the most deadly thing you can do. When these people pull up with the taste for blood, there's nothing you can do. There's videos of us resisting, there's videos of us complying, and in the same videos we are dying. There's nothing you can do once they have the taste for blood. I don't know what to tell you. I really don't know. I will suggest that whenever encountered someone, any man that can take your life, you put yourself in a position, you put yourself in a position that you will try to preserve and protect your life by any means necessary. That's all I can say. I don't know what that means. I don't know how to do it when you're in a car and there are guns at the window. I don't know how to do it when they run in your house while you're sleeping. I don't know how to do it if your son and daughter's outside playing and they shoot them down. I don't know. I'm sorry. But just understand that the limitless ambition of you chasing in these particular times could leave the safety to go out into the unknown to come back with a compound virus that if you are old, if you are previously sick, if you have a compromised immunity to in the beginning, that is already considered a worthless human being. They deem that a useless eater. This is how they talk. You understand? That's the ambition. Burning greediness is kind of ties into that. You see what I'm saying? Ties into it. You understand that. That's self-explanatory. Merciless vengeance, right? You give. This is how you start it off. When you want to create a disharmony, you will show equal bearing, and then you will give more to one side, and then let it start to fall over. So now we don't know where it started. Once you beat Rodney King, once you killed this person, once you slain this kid, you know what I'm saying? And now we are looking for some type of equality, buzzword, you understand what I'm saying? So we are looking for some type of justice. We are looking for some type of relief, some type of peace in our minds to know that if anything happens in the future, there would be a speedy punishment that would justify the cause. You know what I'm saying? Sidebar, I strongly believe, right, that if there's a law, if there's a stiffer penalty for one who hurts a police officer, there should be stiffer penalties for police officers who are being charged with murder. There should be no bail. If you're a police officer, you should not make bail on a murder charge. Period. If you are under investigation for murder, you should not make bail. You should sit tight in jail and wait like everybody else. Get a year court date like everybody else. Live off the phone, commissary, the dirty water. Learn. So you see how it's already lopsided? It's not the same thing. I've been picked up on homicides before, wrongful homicides, and they locked up everybody that was there. And around the same time on the news was the Trayvon Martin case, and Zimmerman was able to walk into the police district and say something and walk out, and then we had to protest and do all this stuff in order for him to get locked up. And then when he got locked up, he made bail. He gave him 150. What? Merciless vengeance. Hatred and malice. You see how they can create hatred? They do it through the news. They show you us. This is what we are fighting for. This is what it is. These subtle ways of poking at us and teasing us. You killed my father, then you tease me for not having one. This is what they do. This is the sickness. This is evilness at its best. When I read this book, it sounds like Thanos talking in the movie. With that one, I'll continue it later. Hope y'all like it. Hope it was informative. I hope I was clear and so forth. So with that said, it's your boy, NFO Merc, the Codebreaker 1.